They say you can't hear silence, but that's not true. I heard it the moment I stepped into the house on Wither Hollow Road, a wet, sucking kind of silence. Like something holding its breath. Like something waiting for me. I was the only one stupid enough to take the place. Everyone in Willow Falls had a theory about why the house sat empty for 13 years, why the shutters were always bolted, why the yard seemed to resist every season. The grass never grew. The snow never settled. Even the birds flew around it. But I was desperate. No family. No job. Just a diploma in my glove box and a mountain of debt shadowing every breath. So when I saw the ad for caretaker needed, lodging provided, quiet area, pinned to the gas station bulletin board, I didn't hesitate. I should have. The house was old, yes, but not decrepit. No broken windows. No rotting porch. Just off. The kind of wrong you feel behind your eyes. The air was too still. The rooms too symmetrical. There were no smells, no sounds. No echo. But the ad had been clear, caretaker needed. Light cleaning. Stay overnight. Weekly pay in cash. Cash was king when you were drowning. The woman who gave me the key wore gloves in the summer and sunglasses in the shade. She didn't smile, not really. Just pushed the brass key across the desk and said, "Once you're inside, don't answer if it knocks." That was it. I half laughed. Thought it was a joke. Some creepy local legend. One of those haunted house stories townspeople feed new arrivals to see if they run. I wish I'd run. The first night was uneventful. I moved in with a single duffel bag and a carton of instant noodles. The power worked. The water ran. But the house was too cold, bone cold, like it remembered winter. It had a grandfather clock in the hallway that hadn't ticked in years, but every night at 3:33 a.m., I swear it clicked. Just once. Sharp. Hollow. Enough to pull me out of sleep, heart stuttering, breath locked in my chest. I told myself I was imagining it. Told myself a lot of things that week. The job was simple. Keep it clean. Stay inside overnight. Don't touch the cellar. There was a cellar door in the back hallway. Bolted. Padlocked. Rusted shut with an iron plate that looked hand-forged. A draft slipped up from beneath it, carrying the sour scent of mildew and something else, something raw, like open wounds and copper. On the fourth night, I started hearing the breathing. I thought it was the wind at first. Willow Falls is a wind-heavy town, the kind that howls like it's mourning the past. But this wasn't wind. It came from inside the walls. A dragging inhale. A hitch. Then a long, rattling exhale. Soft at first. Then louder. I pressed my ear against the plaster near the stairs. Felt warmth radiating through the wall. Heard a second inhale, slower now, deeper. The house was breathing. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, the sound was gone. The next day, I found a photograph tucked behind a drawer in the upstairs bedroom. A little girl, maybe 10, standing barefoot on the front porch. Dirty blonde hair, white cotton dress, no shoes. But it wasn't the girl that froze me. It was the window behind her. There was a face watching through the glass. Sunken eyes. Too wide. No whites, just dark. Something, grinning. That was the first time I heard the knock. I was brushing my teeth when it came, 3 short raps, like someone knocking against wood with bone instead of knuckle. I froze, toothbrush halfway to my mouth. Knock. 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 It wasn't the front door. It came from inside the house. I opened every door. Checked every closet. Nothing. No one. But the air had shifted. Like the house was watching me now. Breathing me in. That night, I locked every door, every window. Turned on every light. I even pushed furniture in front of the cellar door, as if that would make a difference. I curled up on the couch and waited for sleep. It never came. Instead, at exactly 3:33 a.m., the grandfather clock clicked, and I heard footsteps on the stairs. Slow. Heavy. Wet. Dragging something behind them. I didn't look. I don't know why. Maybe instinct. Maybe survival. But I just pressed my hands over my ears and stared at the wall until dawn bled through the curtains. In the morning, the front door was wide open. And in the hallway? A trail of wet footprints. But only one set. No return. I thought about leaving. Packed my bag, threw it into the car, and sat behind the wheel for almost 20 minutes. But I didn't turn the key. Because part of me, the part one hate, wanted to know. That night, the knocks came again. But this time, they were inside my room. I don't remember falling asleep. Just the sudden sense that I was awake but paralyzed, my body heavy, my arms locked to my sides. Something whispered in the dark. Not words. Just breath. Hot and wet on my cheek. Then, a hand. Cold fingers brushed my jaw, tracing the line of my face like it was reading Braille. And something leaned close, so close I could smell the rot inside its lungs. It spoke. "We see you now." I screamed. Or tried to. But my mouth wouldn't open. The pressure built in my chest until I gasped awake, bolting upright in a cold sweat, mouth wide, heart clawing out of my ribs. The room was empty. But on the wall, written in something black and sticky. "Don't sleep in this room again." I switched rooms. Didn't help. They followed. 2 days later, I started hearing voices through the vents. Not clear words, more like overlapping whispers, conversations layered on top of each other. Sometimes laughter. Sometimes sobbing. Sometimes chanting. I found more photos. Different girls. Different years. Always the same porch. Always the same window. Always a face in the glass. And in the corner of each photograph, scratched into the surface with something sharp, "I see you." The cellar door started rattling at night. Like something was throwing itself against it, over and over again. The padlock twisted in its hinge. The bolts began to bend. Something was trying to get out. And the whispers were getting clearer. "You shouldn't be here. They're watching. They're hungry." One night, I blacked out. Woke up standing in front of the cellar door. Keys in my hand. One already in the lock. I didn't remember getting out of bed. I didn't remember walking there. But the key was already turning. The key turned. I didn't want it to. I swear I didn't. But my hand moved like it belonged to someone else. My breath rattled in my throat, body numb, mind screaming. "Stop. Don't open it." But the click echoed anyway. The padlock fell to the floor, thudding with finality. The iron plate creaked. A smell spilled out. It hit me like a wave, old meat, wet earth, mildew, something coppery and ancient and wrong. It made my eyes water, made bile rise in my throat. It was the smell of something that had waited too long. And then I heard it. Not a growl. Not a scream. Laughter. Small, delicate. Like a child giggling behind a closed door. I slammed it shut. Fell backward against the hallway wall, heart thrashing in my chest. I fumbled for the lock, my fingers stupid and slow. I chained it. Bolted it. I even nailed a chair across the handle. Then I ran upstairs and vomited until nothing came out but acid and sobs. The next morning, I found muddy handprints on the inside of my bedroom window. Small ones. And the word "soon" etched into the glass. I tried calling for help. My phone? Dead. Permanently. The landline? Ripped from the wall, wire ends curled like scorched tendrils. I screamed into the empty house. No one answered. That night, I locked myself in the bathroom. Slept in the tub with the curtain closed, the lights on, a hammer gripped in one hand. At 3:33, the lights blinked out. Pitch black. The click of the grandfather clock echoed down the hall. Then, something crawled across the ceiling. I heard the scratch of nails. A long dragging sound, like wet cloth being pulled across wood. And then, a voice. Childlike. Hollow. Directly above me. Why won't you come play? The ceiling creaked. Something pressed down from above, bending the tiles. I stifled a scream, heart in my throat, hammer clenched so tight it dug into my skin. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Eventually, it stopped. The lights flickered back on. When I opened the curtain, there were handprints on the inside of it. Red ones. And on the mirror, a message in dripping streaks. We're not in the cellar anymore. I started seeing it during the day. Only in mirrors. Only when I wasn't looking straight at them. A flicker. A smudge. A figure standing just behind me. Slender. Too tall. Eyes like hollow pits, like holes punched through reality. It smiled when I looked away. Always smiling. And it always got closer. On the 5th day, I covered every mirror in the house with sheets, blankets, towels, whatever I could find. But I still felt it. Watching. From behind glass. From puddles. From the shine of the doorknob. It was inside reflections now. And it whispered through them. You're the last one, it said once. You let us in, it said the next. And finally, last night. You're already ours. I haven't slept since. I don't think I can anymore. There are claw marks on the walls. Scratches too high to be from anything human. They follow me from room to room. I wake up with bruises I don't remember getting, in patterns that look like hands, too many fingers, joints that bend the wrong way. And the cellar door? It's open again. Every morning now, no matter what I do. And every time I find it open, something new is upstairs. Yesterday, it was a child's shoe. Still damp. Still warm. Today, it was a piece of hair. Braided. Torn at the end. Left on my pillow. I think the house is building something. Or someone. From pieces. I started to journal everything, to keep track of what's real and what isn't. But this morning, every page of my notebook was covered in a different handwriting. Mine. But not mine. One message repeated again and again, growing more frantic the further it went. It wears your face. It wears your face. It wears your face. It wears your face. I looked in the bathroom mirror, the only one I forgot to cover. I didn't see myself. Not exactly. The face blinked when I didn't. Smiled before I did. And whispered, through my own mouth. She's almost ready. Part 5, What Lives Beneath the House. The cellar door is open again. This time, there's no mistaking it. Something came upstairs. The furniture I stacked against it is gone, not moved, not pushed aside. Just, gone. Like it was never there. The floorboards near the threshold are damp, warped, weeping with something thick and black. It smells like rotten copper, like old blood and broken time. I want to run. I want to scream. But part of me wants to see. And that's the part that's winning. The face in the mirror wears my smile better than I do. It moves on its own now. I stopped seeing it as my reflection 3 nights ago. Now it just watches me, studies me, waits. And then tonight, it left the glass. I was brushing my hair. Routine. Repetition. Little rituals to keep me sane. My hand moved through my hair once, twice. Then I froze. Because the reflection kept brushing. Even after I stopped. And then it turned its head, slowly, and smiled. A sharp, glistening thing too wide for my face. "You're hollow now," it whispered. And it stepped forward, out of the mirror. No glass broke. No smoke or shimmer. It just walked through, like the mirror wasn't there at all. She stood in front of me. My face. My skin. My voice. But not me. Her eyes were too black. Her teeth too many. She touched my face and said, almost perfect. I don't know how long I blacked out. When I woke up, the house was silent again. Too silent. And the reflection, the thing with my face, was gone. But not gone. Because when I went into the kitchen, she was making coffee. Wearing my hoodie. Moving like I did. Smiling at me with my mother's smile, the one I haven't seen since I was 9. I screamed. Threw the nearest thing, a glass, right at her face. It shattered. But she didn't flinch. She just tilted her head, smiled wider, and said, "It's okay. You'll sleep soon. I'll take care of everything." I locked myself in the bedroom. Pushed the dresser against the door. Stared at the mirror until dawn, holding my breath. She hasn't come back. But the doorknob keeps turning. And I keep hearing my voice, whispering from the other side. "You're tired. Let me take over. You were never real. She's ready now." I found another photo tucked under my pillow this morning. It was me on the porch. But the window behind me? It wasn't her anymore. It was something else. Something tall. Twisted. Wearing my skin like clothing. But wrong, stretched too tight. Hollow eyes. Teeth like broken piano keys. Underneath the photo, a message scribbled in red ink. "Now it's your turn to watch from the window. I don't think I've slept in days." Or maybe I did, maybe that's the point. Maybe this whole house is one long dream someone else is having through me. I used to think the house was feeding on me. But I was wrong. The house is birthing me. Or, another me. And now, I'm not sure I'm the original anymore. Last night, I stepped into the hallway and the walls breathed. Not like before, not softly. This was heaving. The wallpaper pulsing, the floorboards rising and falling, the ceiling bending inward like lungs desperate for air. And from every vent in the house, a single voice came through. Mine. "You're not needed anymore," it said. "You were the shell. You were the host. You were the offering." I ran. The front door was open, wide, inviting. I sprinted toward it, heart screaming in my chest. But as I stepped onto the porch, everything froze. No birds. No wind. The trees weren't even moving. And in the yard, all the girls were standing there. The missing ones. From the photos. Hundreds of them. Eyes black. Skin pale. Dresses stained with soil and soot and time. And in the middle, standing tall, wearing my hoodie and my face, was her. The hollow me. She raised one hand. And every girl turned their head toward me, synchronized, mechanical. Then in one voice. "She is not yet complete." And they vanished. All of them. Gone like smoke. Just like that. When I turned back into the house, the door slammed shut. I was inside again. But it was wrong. All the furniture was gone. The walls stripped bare. The wallpaper peeled back like skin. And at the end of the hallway, where the cellar used to be, was a staircase made of bone. And it was leading down. Deeper than before. I should have turned back. Should have run. But there was nowhere left to run to. So I followed the bones. Down. 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 Until the stairs disappeared and I was walking on dirt soaked black with blood and ash. There, in the center of the chamber, was a mirror. Full length. Gilded. Ornate. Like something from a cathedral. But cracked. And inside it? Not me. All of them. The girls. Every girl the house had consumed, all crammed behind the glass, pressed to the surface, screaming soundlessly. Their hands clawed at the barrier. Their mouths formed my name. And in the middle of them, floating above the others, lit from within, was her. The other me. She pressed her hands against the glass. Tilted her head. And smiled. "You're the last piece," she said. "We've all been waiting." The mirror cracked. Then shattered. And everything spilled out. They swarmed me. But not like a physical thing. Not claws or teeth. Memories. Flashes of lives I never lived. Running in snow barefoot, laughing. A red bike on a summer road, tires humming. A scream from a second-story window, falling, glass slicing skin. A rope. A tub. A fire. A rope. A tub. A fire. Over and over. Girls who never got out. Girls who watched someone else walk around wearing their face. I was drowning in them, these ghosts, these stories, these broken threads. Until one voice, faint, cut through. Mine. Or, the me I used to be. "I don't want to be hollow," I whispered. And the world answered. "Then take it back." When I woke up, I was lying in the upstairs bedroom. Sunlight through the blinds. Normal. Quiet. Too quiet. I sat up slowly. The air was heavy. Thick with heat. With silence. I walked to the bathroom. And saw myself. Really saw myself. My own face. My own eyes. No cracks. No smiles that didn't belong. I fell to my knees and sobbed. It was over. It had to be. Right? Right? That was 3 weeks ago. I've left the house. It let me go. I don't know why. I moved 3 states away. Got a job. Started therapy. Started trying to believe in things like future and mornings and air that doesn't smell like old earth. But yesterday, I passed a store window. And I caught my reflection lagging a half second behind me. Today, I woke up with dirt under my nails. And tonight, I heard a knock on the wall above my bed. Not on the door. The wall. 3 short raps. Like bone on wood. I froze. And then I heard her voice. My voice. From the other side. Soft. Smiling. "I'm not finished yet."